Welcome. We're really glad you're here. Around our family, the door is usually open, the table's usually full, and somehow there's always room for one more.
This podcast is about making room for faith, for family, for laughter, for the messy and the meaningful. It's about inviting you into our family culture and letting you experience the joy and chaos of a big family right alongside us.
We're moms, daughters, sisters, and friends.
All in different seasons of life, but we're all gathered around the same table.
So pull up a chair, take a deep breath, and stay a while, because love multiplies when we make room, and there is always one more seat at the table. Hello, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Room for More podcast. My name is Noelle, and I'm joined here, as always, with my sisters and my mom.
I'm Faith. I'm Grace.
I'm Felicity.
And their mom, Patricia.
And this week, we have another fun episode planned for you guys. We're going to be talking about our 20s, and some of us are in our 20s still. All of us are, besides my mom. But some of us are in early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s. So that is just an era that is so different for each person. And I think we owe it to everyone just to talk about all the different experiences you can have in your 20s and the different paths that we've taken, the challenges we've had. Who wants to start us off with maybe a one-liner about, we're going to say where I was in my early 20s in one sentence. Maybe we should say how old we are first. Mom, you don't have to.
I can. I'm not. Yeah.
She's proud of her age.
Yeah. I'm 52, and one sentence about me was that I was confused but searchy.
I'm 28, and when I was in my early 20s, I was certain but uncertain all at the same time.
I am Faith, and I'm 27. Am I 27 or 28?
I'm 27 because I'm 28.
Okay. I'm Faith, and I'm 27. And in my early 20s, I would say that I was ambitious and adventurous.
Weren't we all?
I thought that was really unique.
Well, maybe that was just me and you, because I would have said that for
Oh.
myself.
I am 25, and in my early 20s, I was adulting as a youngin'.
Ooh.
That's a good one. I am 23, and in my early 20s, which is currently, I am settling and transitioning.
So that's like a little intro to where we were in our 20s, but maybe we could kind of give like some backstory on each of our stories. So Mom, since you went first, why don't you kick us off?
Okay. Well, when I started my 20s, I was in college. I had been in college for about a year, a little over a year. And actually, no, let me back up, because I actually turned 20 in the convent. So all that to say that leading up to my 20s, I had a little bit of discernment my first year of college and ended up going into the convent to give it a try. I felt like God was calling.
Because we have some listeners who don't know what the convent is or like aren't Catholic.
Okay. So I don't know how to explain that necessarily, but
You're in training to become a nun when you're in the convent.
okay, yes. So if that resonates better with people. But honestly, it really is just like a discernment period the first year. So you're not really a nun. You're just sort of living among all the other sisters and learning about their life and discerning whether or not that is what God's calling you to be. Anyway, I went in with the mindset that I wanted to see if that's what he was calling me to, and ultimately ended up discerning out of the convent. And then shortly after I left the convent, I met your dad, and
Where would that
just
put you on the timeline?
okay, so I would have been just early 20s then, and like early 20. So during my 20th year.
This is all in the same year.
Yeah, this is all in the same year. It was a big year. So I turned 20 in the convent. I had my birthday in the convent. If that
Wait,
gives
can
a
you
little-
That was a
can you
fun
set the
birthday.
scene? Yeah, what was that like?
I don't remember, honestly. You guys, that was 30 years ago. So
Can you imagine if you turned 21 in the convent? Would they like?
yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah.
Wait, did you ever see the nuns drinking?
No.
Oh.
Soda.
Oh,
On
They
movie
don't
nights.
drink.
They don't drink.
Oh.
I think
They don't
some
drink
might, but
alcohol.
not the order that I was in.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, because I've heard of like European sisters that do because I mean,
It's like water
it
there.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, left the convent shortly after my 20th birthday. Became really good friends with your dad. Pretty much instantly developed a crush on him. But nothing really became of that for like 6 months. And then he asked me out. And I guess still during the next couple of years, it was just a lot of ups and downs in our relationships. He had recently discerned out of the seminary, which was him trying to decide if he wanted to be a priest. So there was a lot of, I would say, just emotional and spiritual stuff that we were dealing with that kind of made our relationship pretty unhealthy at the time. Fast forward 3 years, when I was Felicity's age at 23 is when we tied the knot. That
And
was
then
my
3 months
20s,
later, I
early
was
20s.
conceived.
How many
Well,
months?
3 months later, I was conceived. No,
3 months?
2 months later, I
No,
was
not 3
1
months.
month
Well,
later.
oh, conceived. Yes, I thought you meant born.
I was
3
like,
months
dude,
ago,
how
I was like,
long were you
"That's a
pregnant with
scandal."
me? Like
ex
5
nun and ex potential priest have baby after 3 months of marriage. That would be a little bit
I said
scandy.
Scandalous.
I said I was conceived 2 months after you guys tied the knot.
Correct. That is true. And we were super excited.
Of course you were.
I don't know how far into the 20s you want me to go, but that was pretty much my,
Your first 5 years.
up to 23.
Yeah. Would you say at the time, I'm like actually curious about this because this was in the 1990s and times were different even 30 years ago. Would you say that the path that you took to like being a mom at the age of 24, you're 24 when you had me,
Mhm.
was that like typical for people around you, or like did you ever feel like you were like on track or like behind, or like what was a typical thing for other people that in that time?
I would say for my friends, everyone was pretty much on the same time schedule. It was the era of going to weddings about, 2 or 3 times a month, and
2
if
or 3
not,
times
going to
a
baby
month?
showers in the summer. You know how you
You had a
have
lot of
those
friends.
Holy cow.
well, you know how those summer months go in
Yeah.
your early 20s where everybody's getting married, and it might have just been like June, July, or whatever, but it was frequent enough to like know that we were definitely in the era of all of our friends getting married. And also, I remember several weddings going and being like hugely pregnant because you were born in September. So, yeah, so
Leave it to me.
dancing on the dance floor with a big old bump.
Cute.
Big old Noel.
Yep, yep.
That's where she got her dancing jeans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there
That's
you
where I
go.
got the name
All those
Big Welly.
TikToks in
Big
action.
well.
What is your name?
Never
I've
heard
never
that.
heard of that.
I don't think anyone has ever called you that.
She
Big
has
Willie.
reached the point of delirium in her night, I think.
It's 7:58 p.m., which means to translate when you have 2 toddlers, it's like 1 a.m.
Yeah. Or when you're 53 because yeah,
Let's be real.
I'm old.
Mom, I feel like you and Dad stay up later than
You do. You stay up
anyone.
later than I do.
It kind of depends. We'll kind of go on a roll for a while staying up and then kind of crash, but
Yeah, Mom, we see your wine rack right off the side of you.
yeah, it's kind of
It looks
empty.
kind of
Yeah, there's
empty.
nothing on there.
That's the emptiest I've ever seen it.
Well, if you
Right
look in the
off
one
the
behind
side.
it, there is more, but yeah, it's time to restock. We just got through the holidays though, and I will say we were giving away some wine, so we didn't drink all of that, but we made a pretty good dent.
Yeah, wine connoisseurs. That's a great hobby.
Well, I should show you this. Hold on.
We about to see. I'm kind of scared.
The big reveal.
So I just got a Christmas gift from a friend today, and we were on the topic of wine anyway, and I got this. Can you read
What
it?
is it? No.
Let me
Jesus
put it up to the camera.
Jesus.
touches.
Okay, so it says, Jesus touched my wine.
My water.
My
Or
water.
my
Water.
water.
Oh.
Jesus touched my water.
I was like, wait, I don't get it.
Jesus touched your wine and said, "Ma'am, you've had enough. Let's turn this
Yeah.
into water." Reverse.
Time to
Time to
hydrate.
hydrate. Yeah.
I love
So
that.
cute. I love that.
I thought
Doing
that
the
was really
reverse
cute, though.
card.
That's super cute.
That is
Okay,
really
well,
cute.
how did we get on that tangent?
Sorry. Well, we were talking about my wine racks.
Look on your wine rack.
This is
okay,
typical.
So that was typical of people of your time.
Yes, very much.
I remember where we were on the track train we were on.
I think Mom was just talking about what it was like in her early 20s
Hmm.
or something of that sort.
Yeah. So I think yes. No, well, I think I think it's your turn, Noel, to unpack your
Take it
one-liner.
away.
Yes.
Okay. My 20s. Okay, so I turned 20 and actually at that time I was not well. I was not doing well. Welly was not well in her early 20s. You don't know, my husband calls me Welly. That's like I feel like that's like an endearing term that people have for me is Welly. People call me
I was going to say
Welly.
he wasn't original in that because we've been calling you that for long.
Yeah, and my best friend from high school called me that too. But anyways, um, in my early 20s, when I turned 20, I was not well. Like I mentioned in previous podcasts, was not doing well transitioning into college, and I think I was probably let's see, I guess I was when I was 20, I was a sophomore, right? Do you turn 21 when you're a junior usually? Yeah.
Mhm.
My sophomore year was not great, but I did towards the end of my sophomore year start to come out of my like the hormonal issues I was experiencing as a result of the transition to college and got those back on track. And then I started to feel better when I turned 21. I remember that being a turning point of like my 21st birthday being so fun with friends and just like starting to feel more like myself again after my hormones were out of whack for the first 2 years of college. And then I started to feel like what I was doing in college was not what I was supposed to be doing. So if you definitely don't know this audience. I switched my major 5 times in college, a lot of times. I did not know what I wanted to do. I kind of was confused on like, am I choosing this career path for like the money or am I choosing it for a passion? Like I thought I wanted to be like a dentist or a doctor or something, that like on the outside you think, oh, that's a successful career, and not really having a passion for it. It was more of like I'm gonna like be able to make a good salary. And then once I realized that, number one, I was terrible at science classes. And number two, I really had a huge passion for journalism and advertising and everything that this podcast came to be from. I switched over to the advertising journalism school in college. And that was when I really started to thrive because I felt like I came back into who I was again and like just was doing what God was calling me to do. And then I was also single as a Pringle during all those years. Never, actually, no, I did date people in college. Went on dates with them, but not like dating. Like we weren't like a thing at all. I just like didn't find the right person until I re-met my husband, which was, I think I was 23, 22, 22. So I re-met my husband our senior year of college when I was 22. And then, that's a whole nother story for another day. But I re-met him, and then 6 months after we re-met and went on our first date, we got engaged. And then we moved to Florida right after that. And the year my life took like a really great turn because when I was entering my early 20s, I really felt like life was pretty like bleak and I just didn't have a lot of hope and I like was not feeling like myself. And then going into like my mid early 20s, then I felt like I was thriving because I was in a career that I loved, met a man that I loved, and we were living in Florida, which was so fun. Um, and we lived there for a few years and moved back, got pregnant with Adelaide, moved back to Nebraska, got pregnant with Adelaide, and yeah, just settled down.
Nice.
So yeah, I would say I entered my early 20s being like confused and like not sure what was going to come of it, and then exited being like, that really was turned out well.
Sounds like we have similar stories.
Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
Different, but the
Yeah.
same sort of vibe. Yeah.
Yep.
Really quick, are we talking like age 20 to 25 right now? Is that kind of
Yeah, I
I
think like
stopped at 23, so
okay?
maybe
Just the
yeah,
I don't
first
know.
few years. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, well, I guess I can go next. I think my 20s was honestly probably like one of the most fun parts of my life, I would say. Just like fun. I have just a lot of fun memories and I think that kind of opposite of Noelle in that way, like she kind of was having a hard time in her early 20s, but she kind of also paved the path for me in college. So like I had already had a little taste into college before being there, had already kind of like had some familiar people, familiar faces. I joined the same sorority that Noelle was in, but that was drama in and of itself because I didn't know if I was going to join the same sorority. Do you remember how that whole ordeal, Noelle?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that was a very stressful week on our family because I didn't want to tell anybody where my heart was at. But at the end of the week, I was in the same sorority as her. So, following her path like I had always done.
And I think
And
that was part of the reason why it was hard because you didn't wanna be in her shadow, so to speak,
yeah,
because
so
it's easy to do when you're that
I
close
think I
friends.
was kind of in denial that that was like the best place for me for a while because I didn't want to follow Noelle's footsteps, but ultimately we're kind of like the same person in a lot of ways. That was my home. So I feel like my early 20s, I was just like really enjoying the sorority lifestyle and just had some really great community on campus and was really involved and just like really enjoying college and very ambitious and adventurous were the words I used to describe it because I was always looking for the next adventure, just eager to jump on any opportunity. I was definitely like the yes girl. Like anything that came my way, I was like, yes, I'll do it. Like, yes, give me more, give me all the things. And I just jumped at any opportunity. And I just really enjoyed it. I had like one like shorter relationship, but then I met my husband when I was 22, so right after COVID, like fresh after COVID, right when we went back to college. So yeah, I guess that was in my 20s was COVID, but I didn't really let that interrupt life too much besides moving home for a little while, which was actually so much fun. Being at home back with everybody under the same roof again.
It
Yeah,
could
that
be a
was a
whole
lot.
podcast
Yeah,
episode.
we could do a whole podcast on that. Yeah, we really had a good time then. And so when we broke back into the real world, I met Aaron on my first night, just like out on the town, back at college, and the rest is history. So, from there, in the next year and a half, I think we were married 2 years after we had met. And yeah, then I started this whole farming lifestyle, which could also be a podcast in and of itself because that's so contrary to what probably a lot of people saw me settling down as a farmer's wife when I had all the ambitions in the world to travel and see the world and do all the things. So I love how it all ended up, but I guess it's a little bit unexpected for what I had anticipated, but I'm so thankful and grateful to be where I am.
Grace?
Take it away.
Oh man, me in my early 20s. Yeah, so at that point in life, it was kind of weird because I was working full time as a hairstylist because hair school is like I think it ended up being like just over a year. So I was like trying to navigate like working a full-time job and like settling into my career. But still like kind of being in college because all of my friends were still in that stage of life and still like early college. So yeah, that was interesting. And at the time, I just feel like it's so funny looking back now because I feel like I like thought that I had life figured out or like had an idea of what I thought life would be. Um, and was dating somebody that I thought was going to be like my forever future husband. Thought I was like, yeah, in a career that I'm still in, but was just like, yeah, I'm going to be doing this forever and like we're going to get married and that this is what life is going to look like in a couple of years. And yeah, needless to say, the Lord had different plans than I did. I'm still doing hair independently and loving that and have really like been fortunate that the Lord provided that for me and have been able to just kind of create a beautiful life through that. And feeling like very settled in my career now. And I feel like early 20s getting into my career was a lot more like just like longer hours and hustling and building my clientele. And now I'm feeling like I'm at a point where I have a better like balance of just like it feels steady and I've kind of figured out the hours that work best with me just to have a better yeah work to life balance and to not have work just be kind of like the focal point of my life. So yeah, since then I've just like had the opportunity to get settled in my place and kind of be at a point where now I'm like, I feel like I have so much less figured out in my life than I thought I did then. Um, but just seeing the beauty in that and really appreciating that as like it takes so much of the pressure off of just being open to like whatever is to come and the excitement of that. Um, yeah, so current state just settled down, living with my dog and loving it. So,
And
yeah.
the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll jump into my early 20s, which I'm still kind of in. But when I was first 20, I was in nursing school in Lincoln, um, and dating my now husband, Owen. After a year in nursing school, I decided that I didn't want to do that, so I switched career paths and went to school for occupational therapy assistant. Um, and during that time at the age of 20, my husband and I got engaged and I continued school. We got married at 21 the next year and then got pregnant
No,
right
no,
away.
no, no. Owen was not 21 at your wedding.
Oh,
He was 20.
Owen was still 20
During
for 2 months.
yeah.
Okay, I was 21, Owen was 20, I guess for another month. So yes, he could not drink at our wedding. We had a security guard really watching him, so unfortunately
What?
didn't get to have champagne. But yes, we got married while Owen was in his first year of dental school. I graduated that spring and we had Eden the following fall, our daughter. And yeah, we're just in a stage of life that has been, like I said, what were my words? We're settled. Um, I just like settled down really early, um, against kind of societal norms. And all of our friends are a couple years older than us because we're at a different stage of life than a lot of people that are our age. Um, and then my other word was transitioning. And what I meant what I meant by transitioning was like we have had so many continuous transitions throughout all of the last few years in our early 20s, and we'll continue to have transitions. So, yeah, there's some part of our lives that's steady and some that is just moving so quickly. So, a little bit of both, but it has been some of the best years of our lives for sure.
And I think it's probably really, I mean, since you don't have a lot of people your age that are walking through this with you, the fact that the two of you are walking through it together and going through all those transitions together, there's some really special parts of that too, that although it may not be the societal norm, there's some real beauty in that,
Yeah,
or at least I've
absolutely.
witnessed that in you. So,
Yeah, it has been, I will say that it has been beautiful to be able to kind of grow up with my husband and just like learn about life together as we've navigated the first 2 years of our marriage and um, raised a little girl already by 23. Like we have a 15-month old, and yeah, we don't quite fit in with other people our age, but it's so fun to get to be in this season of life too. And kind of what Grace said, it wasn't really what I expected my future or like this time frame to look like, but God had other plans, and it has been so beautiful. So
Well, the other thing I was gonna say is, you're just gonna be a cool young mom because imagine
mhm.
when you're taking Eden to kindergarten and you are my age,
yeah,
but
that
all
is
the other
crazy.
moms are like in their mid 30s or older. Like they're gonna be like, you're gonna be the young mom for a long time.
Well, hopefully there will be some other young moms. Otherwise, my mom friends will always be like 10 years older than me.
Well,
But
that's okay.
everybody's always thought you were older than you are just because of how mature you
Mhm.
are.
Yeah,
So
I will
I
say
think
that our
you just
friends are always like, when our friends found out how young we were, they were shocked. They were like, "Wait, what? So you
yeah.
graduated high school in 2021? Like, who are you?" Yeah,
Well, and
crazy.
your husband's timeline in terms of like undergraduate, you
Yeah,
might want to even share that because he
yeah,
went through he got a 4-year degree in 2 years,
Yeah,
yeah.
people are
So
essentially,
probably
when,
like,
right?
how the heck did he go to dental
yeah, they're
school
like,
at
"Wait,
20?
how old?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
That
Owen
is wild.
got his bachelor's degree in 2 years. So he started dental school at the age of 20. and he now has a little over a year left. So he is 2 years younger than everybody else in his class at least, which is also very unique.
He's wildly intelligent.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yes.
say 2 years younger,
He's
but 2
like
times smarter.
I feel like you know when people are in dental school or like law school or like something like that, med school, because they're like so stressed, but like Owen is never stressed. He just
No.
like is so even keel and
No.
yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah, we were a match made in heaven because I'm the polar opposite of that, and I need him for that. So
I don't agree with that, and
I
I
don't
would say I
agree with
know
that
you
either,
pretty dang
Felicity.
well. But
well,
I
I think
will
Owen's
say
the
that
opposite side. I get very just like overwhelmed and anxious, and Owen doesn't have that. I think he's just very like, yeah, like you said,
Very
just
steady.
That's like all the guys we married. They're all just like cool as a cucumber, and then we're
yeah.
like,
I
We have
will say
balance it
that
out.
even though you get stressed at times or emotional or hormonal or whatever you call it, that is not when I look at you how I would define you
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Those
Not
are
at all,
just
Felicity.
momentary, like
yeah,
It's not a personality.
regular mom, like crash outs. We all have them, right? Like
Mhm.
it pushes us to the brink sometimes. And I think it's okay to acknowledge the fact that that is very normal.
Yeah,
So,
you're right.
but I will also say that Owen is way more mature than
Other
most men that I know that are
Yeah.
his age too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you
Yeah,
guys are a lot
you guys are
alike.
He
both
seems like
that way.
you would look at him and like think that he was 30 years old.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Totally.
Like I've
Does
never.
Owen hear us gassing him up right now?
Probably because he is studying in our bedroom and he always leaves the door open
Get it, Owen.
on purpose
Woo!
so that he can hear.
But I wouldn't say he looks 30. Like I don't want
No.
him to think that we think he looks 30. He just acts 30.
I feel like he looks older though.
He
Like
does
not
look
in like
older
an
than
old way, but
But
like
not
I feel like
30.
he looks older than he is.
a couple years
Yeah.
older, maybe.
But like if people think Austin's like 50, then Owen could
Wait,
look 30.
who thinks he's 50?
Austin looks like he could be in his 40s,
You
honestly.
guys, I'm not kidding. Like a lot of Austin's coworkers before they knew how old he was, they were like they thought that he was like 40.
I feel like Austin is just like an old soul though,
He is
too.
very much an
That's
old
exactly
soul.
what it is. And also he
Just
has
has
gray
that
hair.
vibe.
So they're like, "Oh, well you're graying already," but it's like, "No, that's like some birth defect."
Jeez, Noah.
I don't think they'd call that a birth defect, but
Terrible.
That's not what I meant. You know how people have like a silver streak in their hair? Like
it's like a birthmark, but in your hair.
Yeah,
Not a
birth
Not a
defect.
defect.
It's just funny because meanwhile, Erin is getting ID'd everywhere we go.
Yeah,
Aaron
but
is-
I will
Aaron is-
say that he has an old soul. Like I would say
Yeah.
that is something that all four of us that are married have in common, that
Yeah.
our husbands are one, very chill, and two, kind of like in their mindset, older souls.
Mhm.
So
Totally.
I
Yeah.
don't know how that happened, but
I feel like I can see like the resemblance between all of your spouses and dad, like just the similarities there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
we all picked well.
Mhm. All
Owen just
Jen.
sent me a text and said, "My hairline makes me look older."
Oh,
So I told
whatever.
you he was listening in.
Let's post a
Whatever.
picture on our Instagram story and poll the followers how old he looks.
Wait, can we pull the followers on how old each of our husbands look?
Well, we just told them how old we are, but maybe
Well,
we'll
we
do
should
it.
Well,
do it
Maybe
the day
leading
before
up
we
to the
release.
release of this
Yeah.
podcast. that would be
Yeah,
a
that's
good
a good
one.
idea.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that would be funny. Okay, well, we've all kind of gone through our individual paths. So now we've kind of gone through our overall stories of where we were at in our early 20s to mid 20s. And now just like maybe some questions to dive a little bit deeper. What are things that surprised you guys in your 20s or were like things that you thought you'd have figured out by the time you were in your mid 20s that you didn't? Or just maybe elaborate a little bit more, Mom, or anybody else? I guess we can popcorn this.
I can go. I would
Please.
say the biggest just like surprise would be getting pregnant so quickly after getting married and not really planning on that, and it just really shifted our mindset and our lifestyle completely. I know when we first found out, we were shocked and like, how are we going to do this? Like, we were not ready for this. And I mean, within probably by the end of that day, the conversation had shifted to like excitement, but but it's just like crazy. Yeah, being that young and getting pregnant so quickly after getting married. It was just a crazy life twist that we were not expecting, and obviously has been our biggest blessing, but a huge surprise.
Hmm. How did you feel being like, I know you mentioned like societal norms of feeling like that's not normal because it's not in our society, but like, how did you feel to be pregnant and married that young? Like, did you feel, is it like isolating in a way?
Yeah, I think that there were definitely parts of it that, number one, I was like almost, I don't want to say embarrassed, but maybe a little bit of like, maybe like feeling judged, maybe is the better word, of like, what are people thinking of me? Because this is not normal. People probably were already like, she's getting married so young, and they're like, oh my gosh, she's already pregnant. Like, it just moved so much quicker than we anticipated,
Mm.
and it was hard to not see and feel other people's judgment during that, I think. Um, yeah, I would say that was the toughest part of it. But yeah, obviously, like, as all the goodness, God showed us the goodness through that, it just made us very confident in what where our life was leading us. And yeah, it has been so beautiful.
Mm. It's been really fun watching you guys become parents too.
Oh, that's so
And you
sweet.
know what's
You're
really
an amazing
interesting?
mama.
Like, okay, so this last weekend, Felicity and I went to Kansas City together. Felicity and her husband
Margaritaville.
went to Margaritaville. And if you're on my Instagram stories, you've seen it. I literally plastered like 25 stories up just like right before this. So, and I'm gonna post a reel probably tomorrow or the next day. But just being there with Felicity and her daughter and my kids and like their cousins, and it's just so fun. I never once being around you, like I forget how young you are, I guess. Like how we're like, "Oh, I'm 28 and you're 23." You're
Mhm.
20.
Yeah, 23.
Like I was talking about how when I turned 28, I like feel kind of old now. Like I feel like it was a turning point for me to be like, "Oh, I'm like late 20s. Like I'm almost 30." And Felicity, you're like 23, and we were talking about like, oh my gosh, where was I when I was 23? Like
Mhm.
I had just re-met my husband, like we moved to Florida. We were just like living a very carefree lifestyle with like very minimal responsibilities. And then Felicity is here like with her 15-month-old daughter at that same age. But at the same time, I never feel like I'm like I've never felt, even since you guys got married, that I was like with somebody that's younger. You just have like a maturity about you that is like you're just meant for this, you know?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
you
so
And
both
I
have
think
like
that's why oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like you both have so much like wisdom that people your age don't have.
Mhm.
Like, I lean on you guys for some harder like parenting questions, and it's just kind of crazy since you're so much younger than me. But I never think about that now. I don't know. Now that's what's so fun about being like friends with your sisters.
Mhm.
As you turn into adults because the age lines totally blur.
Yeah, you're just experiencing life together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think once you get into your 20s, um, age is less of a factor.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I talk to you all more as peers,
Yeah.
and I'm 52. So, I mean, if a 52-year-old doesn't really like, I really don't consider your ages that much,
Yeah,
you know? So
Mhm.
I don't
it's true.
think, oh, Noelle's so much older than Felicity or Grace
Yeah.
is, younger than Faith or whatever. Like, to me, when you got married, Felicity, it was the time God had for you to get married. Like, I don't remember any of us in the family being, number one, surprised by that, or number two, like thinking she's too young,
Yeah,
like
I never
ever.
felt like that from our family at all, or Owen's
Yeah.
family. Like, we felt fully supported.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it
what's
was
so
more just like outside insecurity of what people might be thinking of us.
well, that's
Yeah.
what's weird because
Mhm.
I remember when you're pregnant with your daughter, I was like, I remember people saying to me, "Oh my gosh, like Felicity's so young," and I'm like, I didn't even know what to say to him because I like never thought about that. I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh yeah," like I don't know, she's doing great, she's thriving, like she's where she's supposed to be. Like it never was a thought.
Mhm.
And this is why we shouldn't let other people's opinions that don't really know us affect us
Mhm.
at all.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that as a 52-year-old that does that all the time.
Mhm.
Like, I let people's opinion of me, like, affect me. But if they don't
Don't let
know
me know.
us, then why do we give them so much, like, power?
In my early 20s, and maybe this is hard to believe now because I'm a motherhood lifestyle influencer, blah blah blah. Um, I actually at one time did not want to have kids. When I was first engaged to my husband, I remember being living in Florida and being like, we're having such a good time. I just like, honestly, at that time, I didn't really have felt like I had the call on my heart to have kids. I don't know how to describe it. Like I just didn't, it wasn't something that like excited me in a way that I feel like other people got excited about it. And then it was like after a year we had been married, and I think probably because we just had dated for like 6 months until we got engaged, and then we moved across the country and we got married after dating for like 15 months. So I think it was because I wanted more time with my husband to just like be one on one and like get to know him better as when we're married. But yeah, I don't really know. But just being honest, I like there was a time when I remember telling him like I don't know, like I just don't really feel like I really want to have kids. And then we got married and we're married for a year, and it was like a flip of a switch, like the exact like almost to the month of a year after we were married when I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm like so ready." And I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was just like I was ready to be back with our people and like move home, and I was like just the familiarity of family life is something that I really missed. Cause like when we were in Florida, we lived a very like fun, like kind of wild lifestyle, just like hanging out with friends all the time. And like honestly, it felt like we were thriving at the time. But then at the end of the day, it was like there was something missing for me. It was like incomplete. It wasn't like for my husband and I, just the two of us, it like wasn't, not that it wasn't enough, but it was like I just could feel that we were missing, somebody was missing from our family. Um and so that was when we started trying for our first, and got pregnant with her pretty quick after that, and then we moved back to Nebraska. So I think, and that was something that I when you talk about judgment from other people, I remember telling people that I was after we got engaged 6 months after we met, lots of judgment there. And also lots of judgment when I told them I was moving across the country with a man that I had been dating for like 6 months when I got engaged to him. So yeah, but it was also during 2020, so like at the same time I feel like I didn't really know other people's opinions because I couldn't be around them. So it was kind of nice. Um but yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really know why I shared that, but that was just one of my experiences.
Surprises. And again, for you, like, I don't think that it crossed our minds that it was too quick or too early or wrong.
It was God's plan.
And I
Amen.
think, again, it comes down to knowing both people. So I
Yeah.
think that it highlights again where people's judgment comes from, and it's not from actually knowing the whole story.
Yeah. It's definitely like from face value of like, yes,
Mhm.
this seems crazy at point blank, but like if you if you know the people, you know the story, it makes sense. The
Mhm.
context.
Yep. Yep. Context is so important.
I can share my next. I think, for me, I kind of implied this a little bit in my bio kind of earlier. I feel like I was a very adventurous 20-year-old. I just had a lot of ambitions and ideas of what I wanted to accomplish in life. And a lot of that had to do with like living abroad for an extended period of time. And I did get to do an abroad trip, but COVID in 2020 really, like, shifted my plans with that. I still even when I started dating my now husband, had plans of living abroad, but that opportunity got canceled with COVID. And so I kinda had to go to a different plan, and that's about the time that I decided I really did want to marry my husband, and he is a farmer. So you can imagine that when you marry a farmer, you settle down where you're gonna be settled down for your whole life. And I think that was the most shocking thing to me because I feel like there were probably multiple occasions growing up or in college where I legitimately verbatim said, "I will not marry a farmer," and here I am. I think because I had a different idea in my mind of what the farming lifestyle looked like. To me, it was very like, you live in the middle of nowhere and you, live on a little farmstead with a little community, and you're super country and wear cowboy boots. Like, that's just not me. Um, and so
Cowboy boots.
the
Cowboy boots. I
lifestyle,
saw you
I
wearing a cowgirl hat to school today.
yeah, drive tractors, your drive your
Today.
tractor to school or ride your horse to school. And that's just not the reality. But that's just kind of what I had in mind when I thought of the farming lifestyle. And luckily, the location and proximity of our family farm is a lot closer to the city. And so it's way more doable for who I am. But even then, the adjustment has been harder. I feel like I'm just finally starting to figure it out a little bit more. I think I've just in my lifetime been a very like adaptable person. I kind of just like adapt to new situations pretty well. But I would say this was the hardest thing for me to assimilate into is the farming lifestyle because it's not just a career; it really is a lifestyle. And there's a lot that farming spouses are have responsibility for. So, just kind of, I think the biggest part is I'm like in a community where a lot of people grew up around this. A lot of people know what this lifestyle is like, and it's really foreign to me. Even having a dad who farmed because we didn't grow up like in the lifestyle at all. And so, yeah, that's definitely been the most surprising adjustment for me, but starting to figure it out and starting to actually really embrace it, especially now that I have a son. It's kind of fun to like do all the farming things now, which would really shock myself in my younger 20s.
The surprises of life. I feel like something that surprised me in my 20s. Where to begin? I feel like self-discovery. Like I feel like it's been such a like great time to just like learn more about myself and that has been such an adventure. And then another thing that really surprised me about like this stage of life is like just how much I've grown in relationship so much with like our younger siblings. Um, Mainly because I feel like the stage of life I'm in, I can kind of relate to them on some things that I like didn't anticipate being able to. Like, I don't know, I never thought that like I would be talking to my younger brothers about like being able to relate about like just being in a season where we're like going on dates and like what that's like and um, just, like, different stuff like that, that has been really neat to, like, grow our relationship to be able to, like, relate to them and have those conversations with them. Um, and I don't know, know, because I just feel like it's so beautiful to, like, watch you guys be mothers, and, like, I'm so grateful that I'm an aunt, and that's been a really fun thing in this season of life too, to just, like, pour my energy into, um my relationships with, like, my nieces and nephews that, like, I feel like if I was a mom right now, I wouldn't have that, like, same energy or time to be able to do that. Um, but yeah, just to, like, have something that I'm like, "Okay, wait, I can actually, like, relate more with my younger siblings," that as you were saying earlier, it's crazy how as they get older, it's like they start to become more like just like best friends when they used to be like my baby brothers, my baby sisters. It's like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are, like, starting to feel closer in age to me." So, I feel like that's been a fun surprise just through yeah, the changes of my 20s and, like, navigating different things and being in a different season of life that I thought I would be in, but just, like, all the fruit that has come from that too, and, all the growth in relationships that has come through that, that if I was in a different season of life, I wouldn't have had the opportunity for. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was
We are
also gonna say that that reminds me of just talking about how Noelle and I are 5 years apart. You and Robbie are actually, like, 4.5 years apart. So, it's,
Mhm.
like, crazy that that's just
yeah.
crazy to me.
Yeah.
But
All
also,
the
That
same
like
is.
age.
but also so fun to, like yeah, the boys are even, like, now in their early 20s. That's crazy.
Mhm. It is
Gonna be
wild.
so much fun. Or
That's what
John
makes
Paul
me feel
almost
old,
is,
you
but
guys.
Well, and it's wild to think that like, you were younger than Robbie is now when you and Owen got
when I
married.
got married, yeah.
Like
Weird.
Well,
Mhm.
what?
yeah,
Weird.
Last one.
You got it,
Yeah.
mom.
last but not
Um,
least.
There was a lot of things that surprised me about being in my early 20s. I think, the most surprising was the I guess, becoming a mother and all the expectations I had for that, and also, while doing that, how lonely and isolating it was. That was, for me, a shock. Like, I thought my whole life, all I wanted to be really was a mother. That was the main ultimate thing I wanted to be, and then I became a mother, and I was like, "Wow, this
Mhm.
is really hard and really isolating." We had moved to a new community. Your dad worked a lot of hours, and I found myself at home not really knowing anybody and having these small children and just feeling really overwhelmed. Um, I do know that, like, eventually I had friends come into my life, which were a saving grace, but, it the fact that it was so isolating as a stay-at-home mom was a huge shock to me. So, I don't know if any of you guys can relate to that, but that was my reality.
When you said that, I was like, I don't know why I didn't think about that. And I think
Me
it's
too.
because I have like a little bit of PTSD. Like, I'm not kidding. From after when Adelaide was born, and I was just like, what the heck? What am I even doing? Like, I have no idea what's going on. I feel like I'm in a tornado of I look back on that and I look back at pictures during that time and I'm like, I do not want to go back to that time.
Well, and all the while, you're trying to be a mom, and your kids are looking at you like, "Mom
Yeah.
has this all figured out."
And you're
And
like, I
you're
Yeah.
have no
like,
idea what I'm doing.
"I don't even have a clue. I don't have
No,
a single clue what I'm
Don't look at
doing, but I
me.
have
I
to
don't know
play
a
the part
thing.
now."
that is
Uh-huh.
why you have to just be unhinged, you guys. That's what I do.
Yes.
Like today, my kids start screaming and yelling at each other, smacking each other. I say, you know what, guys? We're gonna blast giving away my shot from the Hamilton musical. And I blast it through the roof. And I
Okay.
just start getting out my noodle arms and my crazy dance moves. And they follow suit. And then we're all just having a good time. That's
There
what
you
you always
go.
That's the way to do it.
But I
You
think
just
there's a
add to the
certain amount of
chaos.
Random.
pressure that comes with this whole idea that now you're a mom and you should know how to be a mom, and you should know, like, you should trust your instincts. Like, if there was one thing that I wish somebody would have told me, and I know that I think I said it to each one of you as new moms, that you need to trust your instinct, because that is very empowering as a mom. Nobody ever told me that. I didn't know that I could trust what God gave me
Mhm.
for you because he made me your mom, like,
Mm.
specifically your mom. So I didn't know that I could trust that inherently, that it was God given, you know?
So
So
you're
I love
telling me
that.
that my parenting style of turning on Hamilton on full blast is what my kids need?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
You do a great job with it.
Almost like score.
I know, I'm like, I'm doing something right.
Here's the thing, you may not know how to be the best parent, but you know how to be the best parent you can be for your own kids.
Mhm.
So that's what helps your kids. And also, it's a learning process, right? You didn't have that figured out right away. It took some time to,
Yep,
like, troubleshoot. It's
yep,
just
for sure.
parenting is one big troubleshoot.
Yeah, I can't relate to that aspect of it, but I do feel like that's something that, like, as a kid, I always thought that, like, adults had everything figured out,
Or high
and then I
schoolers
feel
like
like the
that.
more into adulthood I get, I'm like, "Does anybody actually have it
No
all
one knows.
figured out? Anybody?"
That's where "fake it till you make it" came in.
Literally.
Like, that's probably the origination of the phrase.
Mhm.
It's from every adult ever.
Yes, seriously.
Um, I was gonna say with feeling like isolating in motherhood, that's one thing that like really I would say defined my late early 20s, like 24, 25, when I was a new mom and how like I was not ready for that. And that's one of the reasons why I started my Instagram blog is because I felt so isolated in that. And it was like an outlet for me to like reach out and see other moms what they were doing and being encouraged by people online and like having mom friends and actually like you always tell your kids to not talk to strangers on the internet. That's all I do with my life. I became friends with a lot of people on the internet and actually like a lot of real life friends have come from it. Trust me, I still practice internet safety. It's okay. But I do have two kids.
Rest assured.
I agree, Mom. I was gonna say the same thing that going into motherhood, I always felt like a call to it and I was super excited and obviously it has been so amazing and more than I could have dreamed of. But yeah, it's also been such a learning curve and yeah, very isolating. And like we talked about, like hormones go crazy. There's just so many like unexpected things I think that you have a hard time seeing before you're actually the one walking through it. And there's just really no way to know until you're actually in it. But yeah, so I think that we could all relate to that too. But that's why it's so good to have a good support system.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
For
Yeah.
sure. Totally.
Why the only thing I can think of right now, Felicity, is when we were at that arcade playing that thing.
We did not look like adults doing that. That was so bad. We were literally peeing our pants on the floor. It was so
Okay.
bad.
Oh no,
Felicity
I
was
think we need to share this story.
Yes, okay, so Felicity, first of all, I'm gonna out you. You almost peed your pants twice at the arcade.
Both times we were in there.
And they
Which I
made
will
Noelle just
say
doesn't want to be the only one.
they
I
made
will
it
say after pregnancy
yeah.
and delivery, like, I will say I think that you have a little bit, like, I don't know. I can give you
Pelvic
some
floor.
leniency with
I've never
that.
been able to control it though. But yeah, we can blame it on that.
Yeah.
Noelle either. Noelle
No,
worse
but
than
the
me.
funniest part, you guys, was that the door literally I don't know why they had this. To exit
Meanwhile, we're peeing our pants.
no, listen to this. To exit the arcade, not to enter, to exit the arcade, you had to have a hotel card. So you couldn't leave without swiping your hotel card. So we couldn't figure out how to get out.
You were
And you lost
trapped
it or what?
The time.
Owen had it, and Felicity was like,
in the arcade.
Literally like crouching down trying to hold my pee in and I'm like, give me that card.
yeah, the
Trying to
video of
get out of
actually
there.
Owen phone
It was
taped us
so
doing this.
bad.
Oh my
We were playing
goodness.
air hockey, and we were like talking about how our family needs an air hockey table because
Oh,
first
that
of
would
all,
be so
everybody
fun.
slaps at that.
It
Besides
is
me,
so
Felicity
funny.
crushed
We did that in
We would
Arizona.
get so
Remember?
competitive
Yes.
though.
Oh yeah. Noelle was
That's what
pissed that
I'm
she
saying.
lost.
I was pissed. I like chucked my little like what's that thing? What's that thing called that you like move?
The
No, not the puck. The thing you move with your
handle
hand.
deal. I don't
You
know.
remember the YMCA used to have one of those?
Yes.
And in the
People would like
Is
stake a claim
anybody
on that thing.
shocked that Noelle was like overly competitive at that game?
No.
No, Austin said that I'm a Robbie 2.0 because Robbie and I
I was
both
gonna
do
say
that.
that's what you and Robbie have in common.
Not to throw Robbie under the bus, but
Well, Austin and I we were doing a pillow fight the other night. I was upset with him because he smacked me with the pillow and then I like missed. I like threw it at him and it like just went in midair. And so then I like came back with a double whammy to him and I like came up to him and smacked him so hard with the pillow. And he was like dying laughing. He's like, "You're so much like Robbie."
Oh my gosh.
This is so
Noelle, you are unhinged. You're
I
really living out
I
that
love
word.
it.
I am. And just so you guys know, listeners, we basically have two sets of our family members. So there's Robbie's the oldest of the younger set, and I'm the oldest of the older set. So for some reason, we just have the similar
Kind of match up
personality.
a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So last but not least, we're going to talk about some lessons we learned in our 20s or advice you would give to somebody who is in their 20s, early 20s right now. Anybody have something that is like really genius off the top of your head?
But
I kind
Wait.
of just said mine, but oh, I'm sorry, Faith.
Go for it.
I was just gonna say trust your instincts if you're a mom and lean into who God made you to be and actually love yourself there. Love yourself for who God made you to be rather than comparing yourself to other people or trying to live up to the expectations that other people place upon you. Like if somebody I heard that in my 20s, but I didn't like hear it with my heart. Like I could not assimilate that. I had some work to do. So if there is anything that somebody could do before the age of 50 like I did, that would be it. And it's still a work in process in my life, but I would love it if you girls came to that conclusion way sooner than I did.
And I feel like that's what your 20s is all about is like being confident in who God made you to be or like finding who that is or what that's about.
It's been my life journey. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like I think too, it's one of those things that you kind of can grasp for a while and then circumstances happen and you become maybe less sure of that. At least that's been my experience. So
Yeah. True.
I think mine would be surround yourself with the people you want to become. I think that in your 20s, it's such a pivotal time for and transitional time for a lot of people. And I think that when you surround yourself with like like-minded individuals who are also striving to glorify the Lord in what they do. And like Noelle kind of mentioned earlier, are like pursuing their passions, not just pursuing something for um so that they can make money or whatever, you know? You wanna surround yourself with those people who are, just what you want to be, what where you wanna go, and then they will be along with you on that journey, and I think that's also how I met my husband, is surrounding myself with people that I wanna become, and, he met me there, and we were able to kinda dive deeper into that together. So, that's my biggest recommendation.
I think mine would be to let God surprise you because um I definitely I was hopeful, and that's one thing that I really look back on my early 20s and be like, "Dang, I had a lot of hope that like God would come through and provide for what I wanted and what my heart desired, which was to meet the love of my life and get married." That was like my biggest desire when I was 20 years old. But I didn't know how that would happen, and I didn't know if that would happen, but I had hope that it would. And I think the way that God fulfilled that promise, or the desire he put on my heart, was through a lot of like surprising me in things that were like, "Oh, you're going to marry this dude that you met in high school at band camp." Which if you would have told me that in when I was 20, I would have been like, "No, I am not going to." But then, like, the context, the person, their story, and it all just like comes together. So, yeah, I don't know. I was surprised by that. I was surprised to move across the country. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I would live in Florida for almost 2 years of my life. Never did I think that I would. I honestly didn't know how many kids I wanted to have, or that I would be pregnant by 24, the same age mom was pregnant with me. And when I was 20, this is one thing we didn't mention, but I'm the oldest, obviously. And Faith and Grace were both in relationships at that time. I was not. I was the last one of us four to date, maybe. I think we're Owen and Felicity. Were you dating by the time Austin and I were? No, no. Um, but anyways, Faith and Grace were in like relationships in when I was 20, and I was not, or around that area. And so I always thought like I was going to be behind them, and I always felt behind. And then funny enough, God surprised us all and put me as the front runner who got married and on the fast track and had two kids before anyone else did. So you just never know.
Do you guys remember when we used to talk about like who was gonna get married first and like who
Yeah.
would have kids first and just like our future?
And it was
Mhm.
never me.
It was never you. You were probably like the last one.
Was
Just
Felicity the first?
I feel like she was.
I think so, even though I was the youngest, which is crazy. I think
Yeah.
it was like me and Faith and then you
Mhm.
two.
Yeah.
Well, and I think a lot of that stems from like Noelle, you were going to be a world traveler,
Mhm.
and Faith was so into wanting to build this big career and stuff like that. So, I mean, it just seemed like that's the way things were heading.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
But
then they
God
went.
had other plans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the surprise is good. Sometimes good, sometimes not so good. But I think that just being open to the good in the long run that God has for you. Because in your 20s, you might be surprised in a bad way by something that happens that you don't think is going to happen the way that you want it to. But I think in the end, it's going to work for your good for sure. Just trusting that like the Lord has you in those seasons of waiting, and that He's not going to just leave you there.
I was gonna say something I would say to anybody in their early 20s is to allow God to lead and to have confidence in his plan. Um, and yeah, just know who you are through the eyes of God
Mhm.
and see yourself like that, but also to just not allow other people's opinions of you or what you envision their opinions of you to be like affect you so much.
Mhm.
Instead, just continue to live your life the way that God has it set up for you.
And one caveat I would maybe add to that is opinions of people that don't know you, because I do think that all of you have been really good at taking feedback in terms of like looking for feedback, because I think it's important, like especially in a dating relationship or leading up to marriage or whatever,
Yeah.
to like consult with people who know and love you, right? And so be open to that. But we're talking about not being influenced by people that really don't know you, your story, or anything about you, I guess.
Yeah. What advice would you give to somebody in their early 20s,
Mm,
or like what's one lesson you learned?
I would say to be just more kind and gentle with yourself, um, and to like be able to slow down and um, just kind of let life pursue you and not feel like you have to have it all figured out. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I think that will wrap up our main part of the show, but now we're going to talk about what we are making room for this week. So, does anybody want to start?
I can start. Just before we started recording this podcast, we were just talking about how much loss and tragedy there has been recently. And so I think that has just opened my eyes to a perspective of just making room for love and making room to really cherish those closest to us because we never know how long we have with one another, and um, life is just so precious. So just soaking that up and making room specifically to focus on the people that I love this week.
I'm making room for organization. Um, we're going on a trip, and I have to get things prepared for a babysitter. So I'm doing all the meal planning and making all the notes and things like that. So that's what I'm making room for this week.
This week, I am making room for routine. I think I might have said this again a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week even, but gosh, my husband and I we really, really would love to get into a good routine where we can wake up before the kids every day and work out and do some, like, have prayer time, whatever. Um, but it's just been so hard because the kids still, Adelaide comes into our room at least once a night, and then it wakes us up, and then that broken sleep then bleeds into the morning, and then we don't wake up on time and whatever. So we're really gonna try to go to bed earlier and just get some more exercise time. So making a routine that would give us more exercise time in the mornings or evenings. Why are you laughing, Faith and Grace?
We're
Your
laughing at
face
mom.
froze really weird.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Your pupils are like stuck over here. It's better now.
You guys stop. I have to pee. This is gonna be bad. Okay, somebody else take it away.
No, you were making a really good point.
I'm making room for routine so that I can wake up and work out before my kids.
Love that. That's great.
This week, I'm making room for calm and slowness, and yeah, just allowing myself to go with the flow and not try to rush things. Allow Eden to help if she wants, and just trying to be more present with her, even when things are a little bit overwhelming.
Or a lot overwhelming. I know how it is when you're cooking with a toddler.
Yeah. Cooking specifically. Something about the kitchen with
So
kids is a
stressful.
wreck.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is it just me?
Yeah.
Oh. What? Oh.
What?
It's tough for me to do these late episodes. My mind is not functioning correctly at this hour. This week, I am making room for surrender. Yeah, I feel like there's just like some things in life that I feel like I've been like just grasping, and I feel like that anytime I like don't feel at peace, that's why. So, yeah, just surrendering things and yeah, being open to whatever the Lord has in store.
Being open to surprises.
Mhm. Yes. And the excitement of that.
Well, we're actually going to do one more segment. I know this episode's getting long. I added this one. This is a surprise to you guys, and that's okay because we're open to surprises.
Yeah, we
We're
are.
going to do our favorite thing of the week. So this is going to be like just a fun, quick roundtable thing we'll do at the end of each episode where we'll talk about like one thing this week that we've been absolutely loving. It can be a podcast, a book, a recipe, something like that you got from Amazon, something that you got from Target, just really anything that you've been absolutely loving. And I think Mom wants to start, which is really a bummer that she can't see her because she really wanted to show us this item.
I know. I can't even show you. I'm so
Darn it.
disappointed.
Wait, what?
You can explain it.
Into the abyss.
Okay, I'm holding it here and you can't even see it.
Oh,
We can
I'm
post
so
a picture with
bummed.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got like the off-brand air wrap and I should look up how much it costs. I think it was like $85, but it comes with all these different attachments. And you guys saw my hair earlier. I don't know if you noticed, but it was like actually smooth, which
I
is
was
hard for me to
admiring it
accomplish.
earlier, actually, Mom. I should have told you.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
because of this off-brand air wrap deal. I don't know. It's amazing. And it has how many attachments? Like 5 attachments. I'm telling you, it's the real deal for like $85.
All right.
Okay.
I
Awesome.
almost returned it before I even opened the box because I was like, is it really going to be worth it since it only cost $84? But I've been pleasantly surprised. Like long term, I don't know what the impact's going to be. Like, is it going to last more than a week? I don't know, but I'll update you.
Okay.
So my one thing of the week is the book, The Gown from I can't remember the author. I'll have to link it in the show notes. But The Gown, it is a book about Queen Elizabeth's wedding gown in the 1950s and
Ooh.
the 2 ladies that worked on it, that embroidered it, and it's like their story. Very interesting. Love the book. Just read it. It's good.
My favorite thing this week was I got to do a little solo shopping trip at Target. And especially if you're a mom, you know how amazing it is to just have a little bit of free time to yourself. But I've been obsessed with the Summer Fridays lip gloss, but I'm not obsessed with the price tag. So I got the e.l.f. dupe of it this week. And I think it's really great. I mean, I put it on before this and it's still on. I can still feel it. So I will say it's a great dupe. Go get yourself some e.l.f. off-brand Summer Fridays.
I have been loving this week. I got a new matcha. Um, and now I'm not going to be able to remember what the name of it is. But I started doing this new matcha and then I'll do like a matcha latte and mix milk half and half and this vanilla flavored collagen from Ancient Nutrition that I love. It's great in coffee too, and it dissolves like so beautifully. And I'll mix that with it. And I wish I remembered the name of the matcha because it is great. But
We can link it in
yes.
the show notes.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
We'll link it.
Yeah. That sounds good. But yeah, I've been loving that.
Yeah. This week, something that was really fun and special was just continuing to crochet blankets. I'm getting really into it and I'm learning as I go, but it has been super enjoyable.
They look so good too. I'm
Thank
shocked
you.
at the quality that you're able to do as a beginner.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
Looks great. Well, thank you guys for joining us this week. It's been so fun to be with you for another episode of the Room for More podcast. Please subscribe and leave us a rate and review. It helps us a lot in the podcasting world. And next week, stay tuned because we are going to interview my mom and dad before their anniversary. No, not their anniversary. That's my anniversary. For Valentine's Day. And we're just going to do a Q&A with them on how life was when they were a priest, almost going to be a priest, and training to be a priest, training to be a nun. But then how they
Studying.
got together and had 8 kids.
Woohoo!
See you next week.
Yeah.
All right. Bye. Love you all.
That was today's conversation, and now it's your turn.
Who can you make room for this week?
Who might need an invitation, a listening ear, or a seat at your table?
It doesn't have to be perfect, just open.
We'll be back next time, gathered again with stories, faith, and family. Until then,
Pull up a chair and follow us on Instagram at Room for More Podcast. There is always one more seat at the table.